Given the massive move we saw in Tesla on their earnings, I thought we'd do a quick update as to what the technicals look like for the rest of the year. Hello, I'm David Jones. I've been a technical analyst in financial markets for 25 years, and this is our channel dedicated to technical analysis for US stocks. We did a look at Tesla a couple of weeks ago ahead of their earnings. We saw a slight recovery in place. Since then, we've seen a massive move in the shares, so I thought it was time for an update. What we're going to do in this video, we're going to have a quick catch up, see what happened over the earnings. I'll come back, talk about the numbers in a bit more detail, the big levels to watch for the rest of the year. Then we'll jump back on the chart and just try and dig out maybe some decent areas to buy if we see something like a correction in the shares over the next couple of weeks. As usual, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, if you could subscribe, support the channel, and we'll continue to push out content like this. First of all, let's catch up quickly with what the market reaction was to Tesla's earnings. So a quick update on how the stock reacted. I think it is pretty well summed up in this chart. There we go. We can see just the explosion. Just before earnings, the shares were trading around about, what, $2.55 a share, and closed end of last week at $3.28. So that recovery that we picked up on last time round would appear to still be going strong. We're going to look at this in a bit more detail. Let me just talk about the earnings in a bit more depth first of all. We'll look at the big levels to watch for Tesla for the rest of the year, then come back and look at this chart in more detail. So you can see a massive surprise. When we recorded the video ahead of earnings, the share price was $237 a share, so it's $90 higher today. Just why did we see it surge so much? Well, the expectation was that Tesla was going to have a loss-making quarter. Expectations were for the company to lose something like 42 cents over the quarter. In fact, they came in with a profit of $1.86 per share. That's a massive turnaround on what the market was expecting. But the good news didn't really stop there. There was going to be a lot of focus on how things were going in its China factory in Shanghai. The company said that it was ahead of schedule, and also they said that its much awaited Model Y car, which I think is the one on the screen behind me here, that was ahead of schedule, and they expected to launch it by the summer of next year. So all good news for Tesla, and we saw that reacted in the share price. Let's take a look at this chart in a bit more detail in a second. Before we do that, let me talk through the numbers, the big levels to watch out for. It's blasted through all of the resistance levels we were looking at last time round, not surprising given the size of the move. So we have some old historical levels left from 2018, but I think the next target on the upside around about $352 a share, and those are actually the highs from earlier this year. On the downside is where it gets a bit more interesting. If we see the price under pressure, I think that could be the opportunity. And I think the obvious one, really the levels we were looking at last time round, sort of 250, 289, the lows, they're just from October so far, but they're still, what, 50, 60, $70 below where we are now. If we saw the price under pressure, watch how it reacts in this sort of area. That 289 could particularly be, I think, a big one to watch if we see the price slide below 300. But let's have a look at the chart. Let's catch up with things, jump back on the chart and see where this move has left us. So last time around for Tesla, before the earnings came out, obviously, I was talking about how this trend that had been in place since December 2018 had done a great job all the way down of stopping any rallies in the price until July of this year, and we saw the trend break out. And I was saying, I think when we were looking at these in the video from the other week, the shares were about $237 a share. They're what, almost $100 higher now. But clearly that recovery still going strong. So for now, any weakness in the price of Tesla looks like a buying opportunity. I think that the greatest opportunity would be a fall back to this trend line. At the moment, the trend line's coming in at around about 235. It looks unlikely we're going to see that in the short term, but there could well be a feeling that perhaps it's popped a little bit too high on these earnings. So I think the opportunity is, if you look at the RSI now, we are really overbought on the RSI. Not surprising after such a big move. The opportunity is if we see the price start to sell off, where do the buyers come back in? That recovery is still intact. So for me, any major weakness from here in Tesla looks like a buying opportunity. The obvious target, if we're going to see this recovery continue, we've broken through some big levels. Last time around, I was talking around about, what, 266, 260. These old highs from mid-July being a problem. Clearly, we're through there. We have the old levels left from February of this year, 320. They've gone. Maybe we will see a bit more back and forth around $320 a share in the days ahead. And after that, I think the big target is going to be a run back up to those December highs where this downtrend started from. So not much to add really to the last video. Clearly the recovery still going strong. Any weakness looks to be a buying opportunity. If we did pull back, towards the 260 area, it's a big sell-off from where we are now, but that would be an opportunity. And it's only if it breaks below these old September lows. Let's not forget these lows were only set 6-7 weeks ago and tested again towards the end of September. So all positive, perhaps a little bit overextended in the short term. Any weakness though looks like a buying opportunity from here. So clearly that recovery is still going strong. I just didn't expect it to move quite as quickly as it did. When it's extreme like this, it's always a difficult one to call. But I think if we do see it under some pressure, perhaps that's the opportunity. If it slides off and we see the buyers coming back in, that's the opportunity for maybe the lower risk trade. We'll come back to this in a couple of months' time and see how things are doing. But for this update on Tesla, we'll leave things there. So from me, David Jones, good luck with your trading and investing.